Alright, y'all. Welcome back. Atlanta bit the dust last night, unfortunately for them. And it was ugly. It was ugly. I'm not even going to lie to you. They definitely have to figure something out with the Trae Young, DeJounte Murray thing because I tend to find myself messing with my hat a lot when these videos start. I'm sorry. Just once I get on camera, I see it's a little crooked. Anyways, they definitely have to figure out something with the DeJounte and Trae Young thing because when they were both on the court together, it was not pretty at all. DeJounte Murray had a very, very good first half. I want to say, let's get to the notes right now. He had 11 points in the first quarter, 23 at the half. He wasn't trying to go out like that. When he was on the court without Trae Young, he was scoring the ball better. He was scoring the ball more. The ball was in his hands a lot more, obviously, and it just flowed much better without Trae Young on the court. I'm gonna just be real. And not to start off the third quarter, but at some point in that third quarter, he got a vicious poster, bodied up Vucevic, cut the lead to 5. He was carrying the team when Trae Young was just unable to provide them pretty much anything up until that back end of the game. Like I said, he had a very solid first half, scored 23 points, but he didn't end up scoring his 30th point until, 7 minutes into the fourth quarter. So like I said, with Trae Young off the court, the ball's in his hand a lot more. But when Trae Young was on that court, especially in that third quarter, he did not see the ball a lot. Only 6 points, 5 points scored in that third quarter for DeJounte Murray, who was having a hell of a game. Had the ball been in his hands a lot more and he'd been able to score, maybe we would be having a different outcome right now. But that's in the past. It already happened. They definitely got to figure something out, though. Before the game, DeJounte ended up with 30 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 11 of 21 from the field. Trae Young, man, first half was abysmal. 1 of 5 from the field, 5 turnovers. Like I said, just unable to get the shots to drop when he needed them to. He had a handful of assists, though, and was able to get to the free throw line, so he finished up with 10 points in that first half, but otherwise, ugly game for him. Just not looking like himself at all. He had the splint or whatever on his left hand to start the game, and then in the second half, he came out without it on. And I mean, he made a couple more shots, but for the game, 3 of 8 from deep, 4 of 12 in total, 22 points, 2 boards, and 10 assists. He even airballed a routine, off of a pick. The center's in drop coverage, so he's pulling up because he has that separation, just a foot or so behind the line, but that's Trae Young. We know the range that he has. He airballed. That was from the wing. That's a spot that he gets to a lot. He loves to shoot from that top of the key wing and, center court area. He airballed. So this was not Trae Young at all. Just 12 shots for the game, too. Every single other starter took more shots than Trae Young in this game. Even Bojan Bogdanovic, DeAndre Hunter had more. Like, they all did. All of them did. But speaking of Bojan, he had a very productive scoring first half, hitting a few threes, and Middy's trying to keep Atlanta in the game somehow, some way. Picking up that scoring load for Trae Young. He carried that over into the third quarter, but he was really much of a no-show. In that fourth, finished up with 21 points for the game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, 8 of 18 from the field. That's kind of the game that you expect Bogdanovic to have. On the defensive end, he was far better than what you would expect him to do. But 3 of 10 from deep, that's just not going to do it. That's pretty abysmal. And then speaking of abysmal, holy, DeAndre Hunter was absolutely terrible for the beginning of this game. The first 3 quarters, he didn't score until he got an and one on a midi jumper, and then he got to the free throw line. He barely nicked the rim, and that pretty much summed up how his game was going. He finished the game 3 of 16 when it was all said and done. Just 8 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. He played terrible. His defense, he's known to be, or looked at to be, a point of attack stopper for Atlanta on defense. It wasn't there for them tonight at all. Nothing really was there for Atlanta tonight. They only had 13 points off of the bench. A combined 13 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist between Garrison and Wesley Matthews and then Bruno Fernando. First and foremost, how the hell are you going to win any NBA games with these dudes coming off your bench? Bruno Fernando is your backup big? And then Garrison and Wesley Matthews is who you think is going to come in and provide you 15, maybe 20 combined points in a winner go home game. You're not going to win. You're not going to win very many basketball games that way. And as we can see, that's what happened last night. They just got absolutely run off the floor, especially in that second half. It was disgusting. That's why 3 of their 5 starters played 42 or more minutes in this game. And then who else had a solid game for them? Clint Capella had a really good opening quarter. 8 points, 5 boards on 4 or 5 shooting. Carried that over through majority of the game, but then got a few of his points in garbage time late in that fourth quarter. Ended up with 22 points, 17 rebounds, and 4 assists. 11 of 15 from the field, though, nonetheless. And then I noticed that they weren't getting a lot of pressure on the rim, especially in that first half, for a team that doesn't have great rim protection. They had a lot of jumpers that were just bricking, a lot of lazy passes that led to turnovers or just, messing up the flow of the offense, and that really did put a damper on things starting off down 18 going into the second quarter. But they did revive and rejuvenate, get some of that life back, starting off on a 14-0 run in that second quarter, but it just wasn't enough. They just had to fight and claw back out of that hole that they put themselves in for the whole game, and it was not, they didn't have enough, especially without Trae Young being able to do what he's able to do. They just weren't going to be successful. Chicago had a very solid outing, man. Very, very impressed with how they came out there and handled things. Almost 140 points. They may have scored 140 points, but very, very near 140 points in this game for them. DeMar, we knew what he was going to do. Very, very professional, being a team leader, not only through his play, but his actions as well. Or what he says, his actions and what he says. Coaching up the young guys like a Dalen Terry off of a goofy reach in, or hyping up Coby White after the game and letting him know that he had he's appreciated for the performance that he had. 23 points for the game, 8 dimes and 3 boards heading into the fourth. Hit that contested 3. I forget who it was over, but with the shot clock running down, just stepped up to the 3-point line and hit it contested. Was working the mid-range per usual, especially early on in that first quarter. 11 points, 5 of 7 from the field. He made it look so easy, man. Especially how he's just able to rise up over the defense is so beautiful. He's one of the best mid-range shooters I've ever seen in my life, especially in modern day NBA. I think he's top 3, if you ask me. It goes him, Kevin Durant, and I got Devin Booker up there for sure, but it's somebody else that's lethal in the mid-range that I really like. That's neither here nor there, bro. Just know he was lethal last night per usual. And then Ayo Dosunmu, man, his defense was phenomenal in the first half, marking up a lot of possessions for Atlanta, causing turnovers, getting fast break opportunities that lead to fast break opportunities for his teammates, and then on the back end also being able to provide some fast break scoring when he's not the player making the defensive play. He's out running and getting down in transition. I want to say he had about 7, maybe even 9 points in that first half just off of fast break points alone. And he really hit some much needed shots throughout the game in total, leaving his impact on the game. 19 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 2 blocks on 67% shooting, 8 of 12 to be exact. Very, very solid game for Ayo Dosunmu. And then Vucevic had a really good game as well. All things considered, he wasn't bullied in the paint by Clint Capella. He actually held his own for the most part. He finished the game 11 of 21 from the field with 24 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists. A very similar game in stats to Capella, all things considered. And then Caruso, very, very scary type of situation for the Bulls, being without Alex Caruso for the majority of this game. Your best defender, a guy that was having a career year in scoring for you, is now all of a sudden out of the game because of a freak collision. Not a freak accident, but like an accidental collision between teammates. Him and Drummond collided at half court. Caruso went down hard and was noticeably hurt. Only played 17 minutes in this game, just 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. His defense was a deterrent while he was out there, and his shooting would have been very much needed throughout stretches in this game. Not really needed, but appreciated, because they were already performing well without him. But that's due to guys off of the bench like Devontae Green stepping up in his 23 minutes. They just signed him not too long ago, maybe even a month or so ago. Obviously, he was a part of the team before, but just signing him and him being able to come in and perform the way that he did in this game, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal on 4 of 7 field goal percent from the field. That's really solid for a role guy. And if you watched the game, you saw how his energy and his defense and his impact was all over the game last night. Very, very solid win for the Bulls due to this guy, Coby White, man. 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in the first half. He was really looking like the lead guard of the future for Chicago with his scoring repertoire, his ability to get other guys involved, and his defensive skills as well. He really has a deep bag of tricks, bro. And he's going to show us, especially going into next season, what that's all about, man. If it wasn't for Joel Embiid going down and then James Harden getting traded earlier on in the season and Maxey performing, keeping his performance at the level that he did, Coby White would definitely be in the running or in the lead and probably the winner of Most Improved Player. He jumped up very nearly 10 points a game. It was from 9.7 to 19.1. So you could say he jumped up 10 points if you take off the 0.7s and whatever. Coby White had a very, very solid season, and he's going to show us that next year and continuously moving forward in this postseason. If they win their game against Miami, who is going to be without Jimmy Butler for the next couple weeks because of that injury when who landed on his leg? Kelly Oubre landed on his leg in that game last night, and he stayed in. He played the rest of the game. That happened at the end of the first quarter. He played minutes in all the rest of the game, the rest of the 3 quarters, and it's what they say, MCL, could be an MCL injury, so that's not good at all. If they're going to be without Jimmy Butler for that next game, I like my chances with Chicago, man. They just might sneak into that 8th seed, but then you got to take on Boston. So let me finish off giving my love to Coby White, man. 30.7 boards, 5 assists on over 80% shooting going into the final quarter. My favorite play on quite a long list of his for the game was off the fast break where he got the ball. He went left, right, then left again, got in between, got past Trae Young, in between Bogdanovich and him, spun off the left, finished with the right hand at the rim. Very Kyrie Irving-esque when he was in Boston against Milwaukee. If you know, you know. A 29-foot dagger in that fourth quarter with 6-ish minutes to go up 21, and then capped off the night with another corner 3 to give him 41 points, and then he hit a free throw later on in that game. Although these stats don't count, this was a career game for Coby White. And I'm just very, very excited to see what else he has to show us, man. But moving on to Philly versus Miami. This was a great game as well. When it was all said and done, it was a 1-point victory for the Philadelphia 76ers, man. Maxey had a really solid showing in this one. He started off the game scoring with a full steam of head, challenging Jimmy Butler on a fast break, and he got the finish. If this was last year, which I was very, very critical of him of, especially even coming into this regular season, he would have missed that bucket because he's out of control, because he can't control how fast he's going and able to finish at the rim using that speed. He was able to get that bucket, though. That was a very, very something I was very critical of him of, and that he has improved very much on coming into this season and going into this postseason. He did struggle in that first half, though. 3 of 9 from the field, just 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Joel Embiid, man, the zone pressure and the denial defense that the Miami Heat were playing on him, and it wasn't even a set zone like you can call a 1-3-1 or a 2-3 or a 3-2 or anything like that. It was forever changing and moving bodies thrown at Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers offense all night. Just moving in motion. Just, if you got to go watch that game back, bro, and watch it from a different camera angle, like one of them broadcast top of the court angles, because it really shows you how they're able to move throughout this zone on defense. It was a beauty to watch, man. He couldn't really get anything going at all, and whenever he did touch the ball, he had multiple guys in front of him containing him from scoring. Even with really good looks at the rim, he just couldn't get it to fall in that first half. 2 for 8 from the field, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, just 10 points and 6 rebounds. Not much of a scoring impact in that third quarter, but when the fourth rolled around, he was working the boards in the third quarter when they were on their run and making it tough for Miami, who had a lead at that point. He was altering shots at the rim, and then to start the fourth, he tied the game with a big-time 3. He had 11 points in that fourth quarter alone. Tobias Harris, man, 3 of 9 from the field, 6.7 rebounds, 3 assists. So an all-around solid first half for him, but he just couldn't hit a fucking shot to save his life, man. He had a possession late in that second quarter where he got to the rim, missed a shot, got his rebound, 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 missed a shot. He missed 5 shots in an 8-second span, bro. Tobias Harris, this was not the greatest game for him by any means necessary. But thankfully, they got saved by a guy named Nico Batum in his game. Kelly Oubre, who was a starter, was a non-factor offensively in the first half. 0 of 6, but 6 rebounds, really being active. Hit maybe the biggest shot of the night late in that fourth quarter after breaking the tie with an and one. And then Joel Embiid, that's off the Joel Embiid assist off the top of the key, and then hit the clutch free throws at the end of the game. Went a perfect 12 for 12 in the fourth quarter for Philly from that free throw line. 7 bench points in that first half for Philadelphia. They were down 51-39. They scored a total of 39 points in the first half, and that's because they could not get anything from Joel Embiid, and then their bench was not productive whatsoever. Flip that around after halftime. The third quarter alone, they scored 21 points due to their bench. Most of that, thankfully, due to a guy named Nico Batum. At the Fargo Center screaming, why the fuck Batum in the fourth? That's why Batum is in the fourth quarter, man. Very critical shooting. He hit 5 threes, damn near every one of them being momentum elevation for their run, getting the crowd electric and the team going. That began in the third where they needed a run. They were making it tough for Miami. They were down majority of this game. They had a lead 20-19, I want to say, in that first quarter. And then Miami took the lead and did not look back until 79-77 when Batum gave Philly their first lead. That's in the fourth quarter, man. The putback that he had falling out of bounds was cold to give him his 20th point of the night. That's a career high. I mean, not career high, a season high in a game where stats don't matter. Just like Coby White having his career game, those stats do not count because it's play-in. That's so stupid. They need to count. It's a game, a postseason game, whether it's the playoffs or the play-in. These are still games that we're witnessing. How do these stats just not count? How do these stats just not matter? Just like the 83rd game that the Pacers and Lakers happened to play this year, that game is just it just doesn't exist. There's going to be no record of that game, no stats of that game that go towards these players' actual career stats, which is stupid to me. It's a game. Let them have 83 games on their record. They won the in-season tournament in their respective conferences. They got there. Let them have 83 games on their record. It doesn't make sense to me. Let this these play-in stats count as postseason stats. Take it from playoff stats and change it to postseason stats. It would account for something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a guy on YouTube just talking that I don't know much about basketball. I don't know much about how business works. I'll tell you that, but I know what would make sense as far as basketball goes. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, it's not rocket science. That's a simple fix. I don't know. Little tangent I went off on. But Joel Embiid. No, not Joel Embiid. Nico Batum, man. Very, very vintage performance from him last night. He even got a dunk on Bam after the whistle in that fourth quarter. Really, really turned back the hands of time. If you know about them Blazer days, you know what I mean. He rejected Hero on a jumper. That was a very critical jump shot. Hero, who was on a heater for Miami in that second half. That's probably the play of the night for him on a game that was very crucial for the 76ers. He recorded a season high in points. In my opinion, he was the MVP of that game, especially for the Sixers, man. And then switching it over for the Miami Heat side, Bam what really threw them in a flux was the fact that Bam got those 2 early fouls on Joel Embiid just 5 minutes into the game. The second one, I guess you could say, was controversial. I don't think that was a foul. Joel Embiid kind of, threw his body back and flopped, but it is what it is. The game's over. Just 0 of 2 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 block for the quarter. A disappointing double-double. I didn't really know Bam was on the floor for the majority of this game. I'm just being honest. He finished with 10 points, 12 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 blocks. Just, like I said, I didn't realize he was on the court for the majority of this game. A no-show for Bam Adebayo in a must-win game for them. Win or go home. Not win or go home, but now they have to win. They have to play a second game. They had the opportunity to win this game and not have to play 2 games. They would have to go against the easier team in the New York Knicks. But now they have to take on the Chicago Bulls for another chance to get the 8th seed and take on the Boston Celtics. Jimmy Butler, like I mentioned earlier, Kelly Oubre fell on his leg, so he was injured. But the way he started off this game was amazing, bro. That first quarter, he literally got hurt the last play of the first quarter, which freaking sucks. But his defensive engagement, his intensity, and his intention with the ball was exactly what we expected from Jimmy Butler at this time of the year. He had 6 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals when that first quarter was all said and done. He started off very, very intense, especially when you just consider where they're coming from, being they're the 8th seed for the second year in a row. So they've been here. The thing about the Heat, they don't take the regular season serious, but we know how Jimmy Butler can lock in. So seeing it in real time is just amazing to witness, man. He was relentless. He stayed relentless throughout the game, fighting through that injury. Clearly in pain though, but he's a workhorse and a warrior, and he was able to, stay in the game and fight because he knew what was at stake. His defense was infectious throughout the game, even with the injury, especially though to the bench players. They really made a difference in this game for Miami, bro. Let me see, where's my... Okay, so they were winning all the 50-50 hustle plays. Guys like Caleb Martin, Jaime Jaquez Jr., DeLon Wright, they were all having huge impacts on the game, especially in that second quarter. 21 points off the bench in that first half for them, bro. So, yeah, he was really, really infectious all over the court, Jimmy Butler was. They really struggled offensively to get anything to fall. 5 of 18 for the game. Jimmy Butler struggled to get anything to fall. 5 of 18 for the game. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals. He did hit 7 of 8 of his free throws, but I would say that a lot of that was due to his injury. Like I said, it was an MCL, so that's ligaments in your knee, that's tendons in your knee. So I don't fault him for having such an off game. Performed way better than Bam Adebayo did on one leg. So hats off to Jimmy Butler for doing what he did, but now he will not be there for Chicago. So good luck to the Miami Heat in that one for sure, especially coming off the game that Chicago's having. They did, Miami did rally in that fourth and only lost by 1 on the backs of Tyler Hero, who had a really, really solid second half. He had an atrocious shooting night though, 7 of 24, 29%, 2 of 11 from deep. 18 points and 8 assists. He did come alive, like I said, in that fourth. 15 of his points, he was hitting some big-time shots to keep the Heat alive. But he made a huge blunder on that handoff. I forget who it was from, stepping on that half-court line with the game tied with less than a minute to go. And it led to that Oubre and 1 from Joel Embiid. And they went down by 3. That was pretty much all the Sixers needed to put the game away. Jaime Jaquez, though, before we get out of here, he did look very poised in this game, like I thought he would, being a 4-year player, the most NBA ready as far as mental goes player in the entire draft, in my opinion, and from what I've seen this season. Very solid game, much needed energy and defense off the bench, and his scoring was effective as well. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Haywood Highsmith as well. He had 7 points in that fourth quarter, 9 points for the game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and a block. So their bench was very, very productive for them. They're really going to need that even more without Jimmy Butler. I want to say Jaime might be inserted into starting lineup in his absence. And then they were without Terry Rozier in this game as well. So that was another spot where they could have used some kind of punch. We'll see what happens with him going into the next game as well. They're going to need something. That's it, though. I'm going to wrap that up because I do got to get ready for work, per usual. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Go ahead, keep subscribing, man. We on this grind. We are on a grind. Only reason I ain't dropped the video last night is I was literally tired. I could not even stay up to watch the game. So that's why I just watched it back this morning. But like I said, we are on the grind. Go ahead and subscribe to your boy. We are pushing for that 500. We will get there very, very soon, but I can't do that without any of y'all going ahead and tapping that button for me. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up down below as well. Like the video for me, leave some comments. Let's start some discussion, man. The NBA playoffs is almost here. The official playoffs is almost here. We're just a few days away. We got 2 more play-in games. What's today? Thursday. So 2 more play-in games, either Friday or Saturday. And yeah, Sunday. NBA playoffs is here, man. Reach the sideliner as always, though. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, like the video. Peace.